A lot of words spoken yesterday about Kevin Durant. Stephen A. was so up in arms about this. I was traveling yesterday, and I was following everything that was going on. Stephen A., I have to ask you how it went. At one point, he was so upset by this, he went to Facebook, and he just did a Facebook live chat.
I saw that, yeah.
So we could yell at everybody. Stephen A., how did the live I didn't get a chance to see it, but I saw you were doing it. How did the Facebook live chat go?
4 million people tuned in.
That's phenomenal. Wow. That is phenomenal. 4 million people.
That really is great.
Stephen A. brought 4 million people to a Facebook conversation. Okay, we know. Well, that means that at least 4 million people and everyone else who was watching yesterday is aware of your take on this. But for those who have not heard your perspective on this, what do you make of Kevin Durant's decision to go to OKC?
Well, first of all, that's just the difference between me and I guess most other people. I didn't think I was up in arms at all. I just stated, they asked me a question, I gave them an answer. I'm on vacation. They called me up, asked me to come on and asked me what I thought. And I said I thought it was the weakest move that I had seen by a superstar. It's not because he left Oklahoma City. I respect his decision. I mean, from the standpoint that you've served there 9 years, you've averaged 27, 7, and 7 throughout your career. You're clearly one of the top 3 players in the world. You are a superstar. There is no doubt that you put in your time, your effort, your energy. And if he decides he wants to leave Oklahoma City, that's his business. Talking about San Antonio, talking about Miami, talking about going to your home turf, Washington, which was never an issue. That was never going to happen. We all understand that. My only sole issue with this decision is that you're going to the team who beat you. You are a contender. You are pursuing an NBA championship, which has eluded you throughout your illustrious career. And you're going to the team that you were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals, not once, not twice, but on 3 separate occasions. You were 48 minutes away from winning the Western Conference, knocking off the reigning defending NBA champions and advancing back to the NBA Finals for the 2nd time in your career. And that is the team that you choose to go to. A legitimate argument could be made, fellas, that this series should have been over in Game 6, but Kevin Durant played a role in wetting the bed, per se, and not getting it done the way a superstar is supposed to get it done. If you remember, they got outscored 21-6, 21-7 in the last 5.5 minutes. 6 of their last 8 possessions ended up being turnovers, including their last 4 possessions. Durant with Westbrook combined to go 0 for 3 with 6 turnovers in the waning moments of a Game 6 where clearly it was a choke job. And so when you look at it from that perspective and you look at the personnel that Sam Presti and Oklahoma City had available to them, a legitimate argument can not only just be made that Oklahoma City lost the game because of Russell Westbrook, they lost a chance at an NBA championship because of Kevin Durant, because you're that superstar and you played a pivotal role in the demise and what happened. And the team that you go to is the one that beat you. I can't knock Golden State for that. If I'm Golden State, if I'm any team in the NBA, I pursue a superstar like Kevin Durant. Obviously, it makes them that much more formidable. They did nothing wrong here. They were absolutely fantastic. And Kevin Durant going anywhere else because he decides he wants to go someplace else, it's entirely different. But when you're going to the team who knocked you off while you are a contender and the leader of that championship contender squad, you jump for the team that beat you. That is the epitome of riding coattails. And that is what he is doing, and that is my thought.
Couldn't disagree more with that. I could not disagree more with that. He's a free agent. As you said, he has every right to leave Oklahoma City, and he has every right to better his basketball situation. That's exactly what he did. Right now, I think he's the best player on Golden State's team. So
well,
if can
I interject? Can I interject there?
Sure.
Who says he doesn't have the right to do it?
No, I didn't.
That's one of the things.
That's what I said.
Guys,
I said
not you, Mike. Not you, Mike. But so many people have come on the shows and they talked about. I mean, talk about being Captain Obvious. Who the hell does not know that Kevin Durant or any of these players have the right to go where they want, have the right to get the money that they want? Everybody knows that. I'm simply talking about an elite superstar player leaving to join contender. If they were scrubs and getting around you, that would be different. But when you are the best on a championship contender to go to the team that knocked you off, I've never seen anything like that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you. We agree on he can leave Oklahoma. I'm with you on that. I disagree with you think that's a weak move. He was a free agent. He could choose where he wants to go. And he, as a free agent, chose to go to the best basketball situation that could get him a ring, something he doesn't have. And he can go to Golden State, and he can be the best player on that team. They have great players. No. I think he can be the best player on that team. So I don't understand why that's a weak move.
Well, I think I thoroughly explained why I think it's a
I
weak
guess we
move.
disagree.
I respect you disagreeing with it,
right.
But to say you can't comprehend it, no, you're a highly intelligent man, Mr. Mike Golick. You understand exactly what I'm saying. You just disagree.
Right.
Now let's go to this point about people comparing Kevin Durant to LeBron James. Yeah. Understand that when LeBron James was in Cleveland, yes, they had won 61 games, and we heard our man Chris Broussard come on the air yesterday talking about how, well, LeBron was on the 61-win team. They were the number one seed in the East. I asked Chris Broussard a simple question, and he stuttered more than most stutterers when he talked about Mo Williams. I'm sorry, Mo Williams, Delonte West, Anderson Varejao, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Daniel Booby Gibson is not Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams, Enes Kanter, Dion Waiters, Serge Ibaka, who, by the way, got moved, and then you got Victor Oladipo in exchange for that. Again, we're just talking strictly about basketball. I've argued with a lot of people yesterday who obviously joined you, Mike, in disagreeing with me, whereas there were millions of people who agreed with me. We're just talking basketball here. You are an elite player on a championship roster, and you choose to go to the team who beat you. Had he gone to San Antonio, well, you beat San Antonio, so that makes sense to me. It's more respectable. All I'm saying is, when you are that elite and your championship squad, your squad is championship caliber, to go specifically to the team.
Made a statement earlier. Let me see if you disagree with this. I said there should be another person that maybe we look at with the decision that they made. So you just laid out what happened with Golden State or with Oklahoma City, up 3-1. They lost that lead to Golden State. Golden State moves on. Then there was a team that won 73 games in the regular season, went to the NBA Finals, was up 3 in the NBA Finals, and lost it to Cleveland. So you had a pretty good team there, winning 73 games and 1 minute away from back-to-back championships. My contention was Jerry West, who basically helped close this deal. Why shouldn't he have said, you know what, we've got a great team right here. We just won 73 games. We don't need to upset the apple cart and bring in Kevin Durant. And then what I heard from everybody is, hey, he's just trying to make the team better. I said, okay, that's his job. Kevin Durant's job is to put himself in the best position for his career, which is exactly what he did, which is what Jerry West did. But that was my statement, Stephen A., is Jerry West had a great team. And he chose to upset the apple cart of that team to bring in Kevin Durant and some of the changes that you have to make when you were 50-some seconds away from back-to-back championships off a 73 regular season win team.
Well, with all due respect, first of all, it's not Jerry West's team. It's more Bob Myers' team, to be quite honest with you, and Joe Lacob. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he closed the deal.
Well, he made a call. He made a call. Now, I'm just telling you what I know. He was one of the players really closed the deal with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green, who closed the deal. More so Draymond Green than anybody, because if you remember when he signed for over $80 million, he could have got a little bit more. Right. But you know what? He sensed from last summer that Kevin Durant was going to consider coming to Golden State, which was something we found out months later. But to get back to your point, let's understand something here. There's a difference. And whether we like it or not, there's a difference in how players look, because they're the ones out there that have to perform on the court, and executives have to look because they're the ones that are assigned to make the team better. Not to mention, you also have to take financial considerations into the equation. Harrison Barnes wet the bed in the NBA Finals. We like him. He's a talent. He's got a promising future. But you talk about a guy that didn't show up in the NBA Finals. It was him. It got to the point where the Cleveland Cavaliers were leaving him open. Now he's looking for max dollars. You got a team out there like the Dallas Mavericks, willing to give him 4 years and $94 million. The brother's going to be making about $23 million a year. Who the hell was thinking about giving Harrison Barnes that? If you're Jerry West and the Golden State Warriors, yes, you're kind of believing that if Draymond Green hadn't gotten suspended for Game 5, if Andrew Bogut hadn't got hurt in that same game, then ultimately it would have been a situation where you would be sitting here as reigning two-time defending champions. But they still are willing to give Cleveland all the credit in the world because they handled their business in Golden State in Game 5 and Game 7. But in the end, what it comes down to is that as an executive, if you're trying to make your roster better and you've got to pay this money out anyway, why wouldn't you give it to one of the top 3 players in the world? That's an entirely different position than the player who's actually on the court, obligated to perform, who has a championship roster available to him, while at the same time has the outlet of going to a team that knocked him off. That's the issue here. It's not him leaving. It's not him bettering his situation. We all get that, not just from a basketball perspective, but from a life perspective. As Chris Rock told me yesterday, guess what? You can order sushi at 4 o'clock in the morning in San Francisco. You damn sure can't do that in Oklahoma City. We understand that. But in the end, what it comes down to is something very simple. You decided to go from a championship contender to another one who happened to knock you off. That is an aberration. We don't see that much, and that's the only reason why I consider it weak. I've never seen that from an NBA superstar. That's all I'm saying.
Mike and Stephen A. So that leaves us with 2 very interesting scenarios waiting to be played out. One of them is in OKC, where it is my opinion that they're going to have to trade Russell Westbrook or they're going to lose him for nothing a year from now. So what would you perceive or what would you predict to be the timing on that, Steve? Do you think they move him soon? How does that thing work? And where do you think the likely suspects are?
Well, it really depends on the offers, because usually something like that would happen before the trading deadline expired in February. But at the same time, considering how you're clearly moving in a different direction now that Kevin Durant has decided to depart from Oklahoma City, it depends on what kind of offers Sam Presti gets this summer. You might see teams clamoring, chomping at the bit to get their hand on Russell Westbrook and not wanting to wait until February because they think that the iron is hot right now and this is the time to strike. So they may make their best offers before the season begins, and Sam Presti may make the decision, why wait if we're clearly in rebuilding mode, at least to some degree, because our resident superstar is gone. We might as well do it now rather than interrupting the season in February by moving Russell Westbrook then. So if I'm Sam Presti, it all depends on when I get the best offer. There are chances that he'll get a great offer before the summer is out. But if I had to guess, I would say it's probably going to be before the trading deadline. Either way you slice it, Russell Westbrook has got to go. You can't keep him in Oklahoma City unless he's willing to commit to you right now.
I agree with that. Stephen A., is the phone going to ring? Is it going to be Phil Jackson? And is he going to offer Kristaps Porzingis for Russell Westbrook?
If I were him, I would do it. But we don't know with Phil, because we don't even know if Phil works, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the fact of the matter is, me, it's not inside on anything like that. I'm a diehard, lifelong Knicks fan. I'm a native New Yorker. I see that Phil Jackson has gotten things better in terms of Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Courtney Lee, even though if you had not given all of that money to Joakim Noah, I think they would have had an even better chance of grabbing Dwayne Wade from Miami because he was leaving his options open. But nevertheless, what it comes down to is this. Phil Jackson, we don't know if he even works for a living, for crying out loud. We know that he has access to the private jet. We know that he spends his time in Los Angeles half the time and calls that a road trip when he goes to watch the Clippers or the Los Angeles Lakers, that he's not really seen anywhere else. And by the way, making $12 million a year as president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks, 6 times what any other executive for his position is getting paid in the NBA. That everybody forgets that his number one priority, as far as I'm concerned, was to recruit, to go out there and show the world that marquee individuals would consider coming to New York because you were there. When the hell has that happened since Phil Jackson has been in New York, producing a 49-115 record in his 2 years presiding over the Knicks franchise? The only superstar that is giving Phil Jackson any kind of consideration is Carmelo Anthony, who was already there and priced you at $122 million to do it. So as far as I'm concerned, Phil Jackson isn't doing anything that any executive out there could not have done for the New York Knicks. If I'm Dolan, I figure out a way to shave $10 million off of that obligation by letting Phil just go and live into L.A. for the rest of his days and get somebody out there who's willing to pound the pavement and actually do the work, because I see no evidence that he's done that.
And then a final one for you, Steve. There is getting a little traction online right now. Talk about Dwayne Wade possibly going to Cleveland and teaming with LeBron now. They need another star to try and combat what they're doing in Golden State. We know the offer went up in Miami. The Knicks have been involved in some conversations. What's going on with Dwayne Wade?
Well, first of all, I'd be shocked and very, very happy if Phil Jackson pulled off getting Dwayne Wade, because I think it would make the Knicks significantly better. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I spoke to some people in Miami this weekend. They tell me that Dwayne Wade doesn't want to leave, that Pat Riley, in a perfect world, a 3-year, $60 million deal would have been better than a 2-year, $40 million deal. But obviously, it's something that Dwayne Wade is strongly considering, because he absolutely, positively does not want to leave South Beach, doesn't want to leave Miami, built a new home there that he was working on for years with his lovely wife, Gabrielle Union Wade. He doesn't want to leave, but in the end, he's going to keep his options open because he's hell-bent on being treated right. He signed a 1-year, $20 million deal. Clearly, the Miami Heat, in his mind, had some trepidation about how much he was going to be able to give them because of his plethora of injuries in the past. He showed up, not only was an all-star, but played like an all-star, looked about 3 years younger, proved that he still has some time left, and he wants his money. That is his priority. As much as he loves his brother LeBron James, and he loves his brother LeBron James, and LeBron loves him back, Dwayne Wade loves his money. He wants to get paid. And Pat Riley and the Miami Heat are going to have to make sure they do just that. Anybody else that comes along, if he leaves, it's going to be for the money. It's not going to be because of friendship. Dwayne Wade wants to get paid. He knows he can see his friends in the offseason.
All right, Stephen A., the most important question, and one thing I did not let yesterday's news deter me from, is watching the hot dog eating contest. Now, I know that wouldn't be your food of choice, so what I'm going to ask you is, if you could choose the food that you wanted to, what would it be that you would try to eat the most of in 12 minutes?
Lasagna.
Nice.
Lasagna, but I will acknowledge this. Nathan's hot dogs are pretty good. I don't think that I can watch people stuffing their face with it. I just think it's disgusting. It makes me want to throw up personally. But I will tell you that I do like Nathan hot dogs. I do eat some with sauerkraut myself, so there's no doubt about that. I don't blame them for eating it, but stuffing 70 of them in your mouth, I have no idea, I have no godly idea whatsoever how you and your son could sit up there and talk about wanting to sit there and watch people stuff their face. I can understand you wanting to eat it, Golick. I do not understand for the life of me how you could watch others stuff their mouths with that stuff. I don't understand you sometimes. I really don't.
Stephen A., you're the best. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right, guys.
Stephen A. Smith. First Take. I believe First Take is off this week with Wimbledon, but of course he'll be back soon. And First Take follows us every day here on ESPN2, and he's got the Stephen A. Smith radio show there on the Mag Dog channel on Sirius XM as well. I just loved how immediate his answer was. Lasagna.
It's a great call. We got to see if there's a record, Hembo, for lasagna, pounds of lasagna. We'll check that out. And again, Mike and I aren't trying to be on stage to watch it. We're going to try and get the Plimpton seat where people from the media actually get to be involved in the hot dog eating contest next 4th of July, and I'm trying to get that seat for Mike and I.
By the way, it's a pretty good little question here that Hembo just sent me. The Warriors look like a super team. The Cavaliers